What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be going over why people don't like Valorant. I'm sure some of you are already commenting why you don't like the game, but just hold off on that until the video ends. I'm going to start with some complaints that may not apply to me, but understand where the complaints are coming from. The first complaint is that it's too slow. This is understandable. Most people these days are coming from very chaotic and action-paced games such as Call of Duty or Titanfall. They're very easy to learn, there's low punishment for failing an objective, and they tend to have the live, die, repeat spawn mechanic. Valorant is not that kind of game. This game is based on an old style of arena shooter where sprinting really isn't a thing and you feel like you're jogging at 3 miles per hour, where aiming down sights isn't important as the guns are already accurate when firing from the hip, and where you actually need to learn the game or else you are not going to have a fun time. On top of this, it has the round-based bomb defusal mechanic where if you die in the game, you don't respawn until the next round, which can get really boring and annoying for those coming from games like the ones I mentioned before. The next complaint is that it takes too long to learn. Another problem with games like Valorant is that it actually requires you to take time out of your day to learn these games. You need to learn the maps, the weapons, the agents, and how to counter each to enjoy the game. Not everyone has time for that. I think the reason why games like Call of Duty are so popular after all of these years is because it's easy to learn, easy to master. Once you've played one of them, you've played all of them. Sure, each game has some kind of gimmick you may have to learn every year, but again, that's once a year and it only takes like 5 minutes to learn the gimmick. These games are perfect for anyone who's either just starting to get into gaming, for those that don't have a lot of downtime, or for those that may not have gaming as their main hobby, but as just another source of entertainment. To me, those games get stale really quick. I like games where I could come back and learn something new, or get better at something I already know. And since gaming is my main hobby, most of my free time is spent gaming. But I understand that this isn't the case for most people, and playing a game like Valorant is something that they can't or may not want to put the time in for. Now let's get into the stuff I disagree with, but still understand where it's coming from. The first complaint is that gunplay isn't rewarding. The way shooting works in this game is each gun having some kind of a spray pattern you can trace. Once you figure out the spray pattern, you can use it to control the gun's recoil to a certain extent. I think this complaint comes from people that aren't used to gunplay like this and are conditioned to assume the bullets will go where the crosshair is. So a game like Valorant will confuse and frustrate some people. Personally, I think the gunplay is more rewarding than today's FPS games because it's something you can master. In other games, you just aim and shoot while making sure the crosshair stays where you want the bullets to go. And some games offer attachments that make it easier to control. I'm not saying the new way is a bad way, I just think there's more skill involved with spray patterns instead of just keeping a crosshair onto a target. Complaint number 2, RNG based gameplay. I think this one is kind of silly since every game has a bit of RNG in it, and Valorant is one of those games that reduces it by a significant amount. For starters, you know how much money your opponents have every round, so you can plan for what may come. You know what agents you'll be playing against, and you know when they have an ultimate ready and when they're going to use it. Some people might be talking about the run and gun issue, and yes, while that was annoying for a while, Riot has nerfed the running accuracy, but people still complain about it since they sometimes get domed in the head from a moving opponent. I'm just going to be real with you, you're never going to get rid of that. The only way Riot could possibly remove that issue is to not let players shoot while running, but then that would make the game completely defense-sided, so you're always going to get killed from run and gun every now and then. The third complaint is bad hit registration. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you don't like Valorant's hit registration, never touch another FPS again because it only gets worse from there. This complaint comes from people that notice that some of their bullets aren't registering properly and it ends up getting them killed. And then they go on to say that precise gunplay doesn't matter or that 128 tick servers are a lie. People forget that they're playing a video game over the internet and stuff like this is bound to happen, especially if you're not plugged in directly to your router. I think why it's such a problem in Valorant is because of how important gunplay is in this game. In a game like Call of Duty, a game with significantly worse hit registration compared to Valorant, if a few bullets don't register, it's no big deal, just run around the corner and try again. Even if it does get you killed, you could just respawn in less than a second and try again. When it happens in Valorant or any other game like it, you're screwed until the next round. Thankfully, this rarely happens, but when it does happen, it can tilt the living hell out of you. Again, this is bound to happen when playing games over the internet. Assuming you already have good internet access, the best way to reduce this at home is by hooking up your computer directly to the router. But I understand that not everyone can do this, which is kind of unfortunate. The fourth complaint is the anti-cheat. Vanguard is a very powerful anti-cheat. This thing is no joke. This has access to your files in your computer to a certain extent. I don't think they actually have access to your files. It's not like they're gonna get your social security number from it. I'm pretty sure Vanguard just scans your computer and checks for programs they don't trust and just asks you to turn it off or restart your computer and not actually open those files. I understand that privacy is a concern, but here's the thing. It works. This shit can smell cheats a mile away. I think the biggest issue I have with people complaining about this is that, on one hand, they hate cheaters and wish they were eradicated from the game. But on the other hand, when they get a working anti-cheat system, they complain how it's too powerful. If you want to counter cheaters, you gotta go the extra mile. There's just no getting around that. Technology is advancing, cheating is advancing, so the anti-cheat has to advance as well. I agree that there are better ways to do it, but at the same time, it works. It gets the job done, so I can't really complain too much about it. Now, you can turn off Vanguard when you're not playing Valorant, so you don't have to worry about Riot spying on you in the background when you're just trying to do your homework, but you do need to use Vanguard when you're playing the game. Plus, Vanguard isn't the only anti-cheat with kernel level access. Faceit, BattlEye, and Easy Anti-Cheat all use similar levels of kernel level access, and those anti-cheats, especially Faceits, have been praised for so long, but now, all of a sudden when Riot does it, it's a bad thing. Again, I can't complain about Vanguard too much. It gives me a fair competitive experience. I've only encountered one cheater ever since I started playing beta, so it really is a take it or leave it kind of situation since it might be worth it for some, but not for others. The last complaint I want to talk about, and it's going to be really short, is campers. This one I just laugh at because it's so stupid. Like, how could you complain about camping in a tactical shooter? You have utility, you have smokes, you have fire. I want to say Molotov because there are no Molotovs in this game, but you have like fire hands, flashbangs, grenades, and all that stuff to clear corners. There shouldn't be any complaints about camping when it's literally the defender's job to camp and the attackers to engage into those battles. And I think all of the complaints I've been talking about boils down to how the game was advertised. When you watch trailers for the game, it looks like an intense arena shooter where you could just turn your brain off and play, when it's the exact opposite. Riot is trying to make a tactical shooter with a variety of maps and agents while trying to maintain fair play. It's a competitive first, casual second game, and most people are not into that stuff. Personally, I enjoy tactical shooters, and I like the way Riot is handling this game, and I'm going to continue to play Valorant and other games similar to it. But I also understand why people don't like this game, and I don't blame them for doing so. But calling this a bad game is a bit much when it's really a this game is not made for you kind of situation. Anyways, those are my thoughts on some of the complaints I often hear about Valorant. What are your guys' thoughts on this video? Let me know down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe for more content, and I will talk to you all later.